Good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss on parameter transmission mechanisms. Before getting into these presentations, I would like to give some introductions on parameter transmission mechanisms. Simply, we used to call it as in parameter passing mechanisms, or else we used to call it as in parameter transmissions. Okay, so this particular topic, which relates to the functions whatever that we used to use in high level programming languages. So we have some various high level programming languages like COBOL, and then C, and then C++, and then Java. In all these languages we used to use this particular concept we used to call it as parameter passing. So it's very simple. So you people are already came across with these concepts, with these topics, I think so. So here parameters, which refers to whatever the arguments that we are going to use to an function, those arguments we used to call it as in parameters. Okay, so normally we used to call it as in parameter 1, parameter 2, and parameter 3, or else we used to call it as in arguments 1, arguments 2, and arguments 3. So this particular title, parameter transmission, which is related to the usage of functions in high level programming language. So to each and every function we used to pass some parameters. Based on the parameters whatever that you're going to pass, that particular function will get executed. Okay, so the next thing, so parameter means arguments. So what about transmissions? So where comes the role of transmissions? So normally in a programming language we used to have some two types of function usage, as function calling and then called function. So we used to call it as in calling function and then function definition. Okay, so from the calling function we used to pass some values from your main function to the function definition. So for this we have to learn about the structure of function. So in structure of function you will have some various terminologies that to be known to us, but to be simple, you will have the function calling function, and then you will have function definition. From the calling function we are going to pass some values to, we used to call it an called function, or else we used to call it as in function definition. Okay, so these types of movements between calling function to function definition, these types of transferring mechanism between calling function to function definition, we used to call it as an transmission, or transferring of parameters, or transferring of arguments between the calling function and called function. So this is about the word parameter passing, or else we used to call it as in parameter transmission mechanisms. So parameters is nothing but what? Arguments. So whatever the arguments that you're going to use to one function, we used to call it as an parameters. Okay, so we used to use these concepts in most of the languages, where in procedure oriented programming languages like COBOL, we used to use these concepts as routines and subroutines. So in second year you people have learned it about routines and subroutines. So routines are nothing but whatever the functions that you're going to use in COBOL program. Those functions, in short, we used to call it as in routines, or otherwise which has been called it as routines, routines. Okay, and then in languages like C and C++, we used to call with the terminology as functions. So whatever the functions that you're going to use in C and C++, is which is being referred to this particular topic as parameter passing, as we are going to pass some parameters to the functions. And then next one, in languages like Java, we used to call the same strategies as methods. Okay, so we'll have some methods, and then we are going to make use of those methods, where each and every method which is going to have those parameters, or else those methods which is going to have the arguments. Okay, so parameters is nothing but what? Arguments. So make a note, parameters means what? Nothing but what? Arguments. Okay, and then next one, we used to call the function with some various terminologies based on the language that you're going to use. So the function could be called with some various terminologies like procedures, and then routines or subroutines. Okay, so functions could be otherwise called as procedures, or else otherwise it could be called as routines or subroutines. Okay, automatically here we need to know about the definition of the function. So what is maybe function? So what is the definition of function and what is the need for a function in a program? Okay, so these are things that you people must know before discussing on this function in detail. So function is nothing but a small subprogram to execute a particular task. A small as a program to execute a particular task is called a function. So you will have a program. So within that particular program, you're going to use some small programs. Okay, we used to call it as sub programs. So using those sub programs, we used to perform some calculations, or we used to perform something, or we used to process something, or we used to perform some logic. So those things we used to call it as an functions. Actually a small program or subprogram, whatever that you have within a large program. Okay, so those things which are about functions. And the next one, we have some questions, where we use it. Okay, so we have these functions, procedures, routines and subroutines, and where we use it. So this is going to be the question. So where we use it, to run program we are going to use it. Okay, and or else we could consider for each and every high level languages whatever that you have, to each and every languages we used to have these functions. Okay, so where we use it, to an high level language we used to use it, or to an program we used to use it. That's about these functions. And then so we have functions where we are going to use these parameters, or where we are going to use these arguments. So we have functions now, and then we are going to use this function to an high level language, high level programming language, or to an program you're going to. So you have high level programming language, and within a high level programming language and using it you're going to do some programs. To those programs you're going to use some functions, and then to those functions we are going to pass arguments. Okay, so we have functions. To those functions we are going to pass what? We are going to pass arguments, or we are going to use arguments. So that's about where we are going to use it, where we are going to use these parameters. Parameters are nothing but what? Arguments. And where we are going to use it, to one function we are going to use it. So to an particular function we could have more than one arguments. There is no any limitations in using arguments, and there is no any specification, and there is no any rules as how you have to use arguments. But to each and every functions you could use any number of arguments that you want. So that's about where we use it. And and then the next question is about what these parameters consist of. Okay, so the parameters which consist of what? Nothing but arguments. So the parameters which is nothing but arguments, and parameters which consist of arguments. So parameters in the sense, you have a function name, you have the keyword function, and you will have function name. To that function name we used to have what? Opening bracket and closing bracket. This opening bracket and closing bracket which refers to the parameters that you're going to pass. Okay, this opening bracket and closing bracket which refers to the parameters that you're going to pass. This is about the parameters. And arguments in the sense, we used to count it as argument 1 or argument 2 and argument 3, or else sometimes we used to call it as parameter 1, parameter 2 and parameter 3. So how many number of arguments that you're going to pass to one function. Okay, and then do we have any limitations in using parameters? No, we don't have any limitations in using parameters, but we have some of the rules that to be followed. One of the rules is the number of arguments that we have in the calling function and the number of arguments that we have in the function definition should match. So this is going to be one of the important constraints that we have in passing parameters. Okay, so while using parameters, do we have any limitations? We don't have any limitations, but this is going to be one of the rules that to be followed. The rules is nothing but the calling function and the function definition which have some parameters must be with some same count. Okay, so for example, suppose if the calling function which is going to have some 3 parameters, and then the function definition, okay, it must also must consist of what? 3 parameters. So the calling function and the called function should have the same number of parameters, should have the same number of arguments. So this is going to be one of the important rule that we have to follow while using parameter parsing mechanisms. Next one, I would like to discuss on this main function. So, what is the role of this main function? This main function is nothing but, so normally to each and every program you have some main function. Okay, so to each and every program you will have some main function. Without main function we won't be able to execute anything, because whenever that you're going to compile or whenever that you're going to execute a program, automatically the control first comes to the main function, and from there the control moves to other parts of your program. So the main function is going to act like an main switch, or which is going to act like a regulator for us. So without that we won't able to operate anything. So which is going to be in controller for the entire program. Okay, so automatically whenever that you're going to compile or whenever that you're going to execute a program, the control first comes to the main function, main function of your program, and then the control goes to the subsequent statements whatever that you have under your main function. Okay. um, then the next thing, which is about, so along with your main function, sometimes we used to use some return types. Okay, mostly we used to use void main, but sometimes we used to use these return types as int main, and then our float main or char main, char main. So like that, sometimes along with your main function, we used to use these data types. Okay, these data types which refers to return type, actually return type we used to call it as a return type. So along with the main function, sometimes we used to use these return types. The purpose of using these return types is, so using those return types we could identify what is the type of function that we are going to use, and what is the type of data it is going to handle, or what is the type of data it is going to process, and finally what is the type of data it is going to return in the sense, what is the result that is going to produce after execution. So those things we used to call as actually return. So normally, so in while using main function we used to use the concept named as return types. Return types are nothing but, what is the returning value, what is the resulting value of that particular function, main function that we are going to use. So the purpose of discussing about this main function and these various return types are, so here normally, though we are not going to pass any arguments, based on this return type we could get an idea as what is the argument that we are going to process over there. So suppose we are going to use int main, which denotes you are going to use integer value over there. Suppose we are going to use float main, which denotes that you are going to use float value over there. Suppose if you are going to use char main, which denote that you are going to use character value over there. So using that particular return types, we could identify what is the value that main function which is going to process or it is going to handle. Okay, so that's the need. That's why I'm going to that I have discussed on this main function. Okay, so main function which is going to be a very important function, are important, which is going to be user defined function. Okay, then next one, the next question here is, what arguments consist of. Okay, so the arguments which consist of some two things. The first one which is about data type, and second one which is about variable name. So to each and every arguments, to each and every parameters that you're going to pass, we used to substitute, or we used to assign two components over there. The two components that you're going to use over there are, the first one which is about the data type, and next one which is about the variable whatever that you're going to use. So the data type, which will be helpful to us to identify what is the type of data that we're going to use, whereas the variable which is nothing but a placeholder to store some value. Okay, so this is going to be the usage or the contents of an argument. The arguments consist of data type and variable name. Okay, now I would like to give some example in chat box. So okay, for example, this is going to be the function that we're going to use. For example, um, uh, the void main, uh, sorry, the void, the function, I'm use a different function, calculate. For example, I'm going to use this function, and I'm going to open the parameters, the body of the parameters, and then I'm going to pass some value over here as int n, int n, and then comma, for example, float f, and then char c, and then I'm going to close the bracket. So see here, this is going to be a simple example. So I have posted that function structure in the chat box. So you will have like this. You will have void calculate opening bracket int n comma float m and then char c. So these are the three arguments that I'm going to use over here. So the int n, which is going to be the first argument, the float m, which is going to be the second argument, and char c, which is going to be the third argument. So all these arguments we used to call it as in parameters. Okay. So far we have learned about how to create a function, then how to include parameters within it. Okay. So void, which is going to be a return type, and calculate, which is going to be the function name, and we have an opening bracket and closing bracket, which denotes the parameter body, and within it I'm going to declare some parameters. I'm going to include some parameters like int m, float f, and then char c. Okay, so this is going to be, which is going to be an example for the parameters usage or the arguments usage. And then the next thing that I would like to discuss is about calling function and called function. Okay. So what is meant by calling function and what is maybe called function, that you people must know very well. So calling function in the sense, the function call that we are going to use within the main function, we used to call it as a calling function. Okay. And then called function in the sense, the function definition whatever that we have outside a main function, those function definition we used to call it as a called function. So you must know the difference between a calling function and called function. So the function call is otherwise called calling function, and then the function definition is otherwise called called function. Okay. And then whatever the value that we're going to pass to this function definition using the calling function, we used to call those things as parameters. Okay. And then already just now I told you people about parameter matching. This is very very important. So the calling function and the function definition must have the same number of parameter to process. Suppose if the calling function, which is going to have some two parameters, and the function definition, which is going to have some three parameters, so the number of arguments here between the calling function and the function definition won't match, and automatically which is going to be results in error. Okay. So whenever that you're going to use these arguments, you have to be careful uh, for matching the parameters or the number of parameters, or else we used to call it a number of arguments. Okay. So number of arguments must be matched between the calling function and called function. The next the important thing that I would like to discuss on structure of function. So structure of function is very very important. So without knowing about structure of function, suppose you're going to learn about functions and function definitions and then parameter passing, you won't get some clear idea. So before going in depth, you people must know about structure of function. So the structure of function, which consists of function declaration, and then you will have main function, and then within main function you have calling function, and then out of the main function you have function definition. So this is going to be the overall structure of your function. So you have declaration and main function. Within main function you will have calling function, and out of the main function you will have function definition. The purpose of learning this structure of functions is we must know where we are including the calling function and where we are defining the function definition. Okay. And what is the need of function declaration. And it is very important to be noted that um, the function declaration and then calling function and then function definition, all these three things must have the same number of arguments. must have the same number of parameters. This is very important. The function declaration, and then the calling function within your main function, and called function or else function definition, which is outside of your main function, must consist of the same number of arguments. Okay. So that's about this structure of function. And then the function definition, the purpose of function definition. So already we have discussed on the definition of function and its usage. The next one, which is about function definition. Function definition is nothing but which is going to be some set of statements, function with function name with some set of statements. These particular function which is to process something and which is to return some values actually. So that's about this function definition. Okay, so function definition, which consists of some few statements, which may consist of some processing, which may consist of some logics over there, and after processing it used to return some results. That's the purpose of what function definition. And then so already we have discussed about function definition for the function. The next one is about modular programming. The purpose or the ultimate goal of using functions is to implement the concept of modular programming. To implement the concept of modular programming, we are using the concepts of what? Functions. So we are going to take a big program, for example that particular program which consists of some 100 lines of code, 100 LOC, and then we are going to divide that particular program into various sub programs actually. So we're going to take 100 lines of code, and then I'm going to divide it, the first 10 line which is going to be main function, and the next 10 line which is going to be a function 1, and the next 10 line which is going to be function 2, and the next 10 line which is going to be function 3. So similarly I'm going to take a big program, and then I'm going to divide it into various modules. So these types of programming mechanisms we used to call it as a modular programming. Okay. And then each and every functions which consist of some opening braces and then closing braces, we used to call it as blocks actually, which denote the body of that particular function. You have an opening braces and closing braces, we used to call it as blocks, BLOCKs, or else which is going to be the body of that particular function. Coming to the main picture, we have some three ways of parameter passing. This is going to be very important to the current topic. We have some three different parameter passing mechanism. That's about parameter transmission. So far whatever that we have discussed, which is going to be the introduction to this particular topic actually, these are things that we must know before discussing on parameter passing mechanisms, or else we used to call it as parameter transmission mechanisms. I think that most of you have learnt on this parameter passing mechanism, and you have worked some programs on it, but just for revision purposes, or just for making you people to be clear with this concept, once again I am taking this particular parameter transferring or parameter passing, parameter transmission mechanism, actually parameter transmissions. Okay, so here we have three types of parameter transmission mechanisms. The first one, which is about call by value. Okay, the first one which is about call by value, and then the second one which is about call by reference, and third one which is about call by name. Okay, so these are the three different types of parameter passing or parameter transmission mechanisms that we have in this particular topic. Okay, the first one, so that's what I have described in this particular first slide in this introduction part. First I have given the definition for your topic as transmission of data from the calling function to the called function. Okay, so calling function will be present in your main function, and called function which is going to be present out of your main function, and sometimes we used to call the called function as function definition. Okay, and here these types of transmission of data from the calling function to the called function we used to call it as an parameter transmission. Okay, this is going to be an important definition that people must know. And then we have three types: what? Call by name, call by reference, and call by value. The other name for call by name is thunks. In short, we used to call it as thunks. The call by name would be otherwise, which is going to be called as thunks. THUNKS, thunks. Okay, some of them they used to understood about this particular word tongues as thanks. Sometimes instead of you they used to assign the letter a, and then sometimes they used to pronounce it as thanks. This is going to be thanks. Okay, you must not pronounce with some different forms. This is going to be thanks, THUNKS, the other name for call by name, which is going to be thanks. Okay, and the next one, call by reference. Call by reference is nothing but passing the address of the variable, or else we used to call it as an original value. So make note of these things. So call by reference means passing original value. Call by reference, which stands for passing original value. And the next one is about call by value. Call by value in the sense we are going to use a copy of the value. Okay, so all these three types which refers to what? Parameters. It's very simple, which refers to parameters. So call by name, where we are going to use what? The name alone, and we are not going to pass any parameters over there. There is going to be just empty parameters in call by name. In call by reference, we are going to pass the value. That too, we are going to pass the original value. Okay, we are going to take the original value and then we are going to work on that original value. Next one, the call by value, where we are going to use only copy of the value. We are not going to use the original value. We are going to use the copy of value. So you must know the difference between the call by value and call by reference. In call by value, we are going to use only a copy of the value, whereas in call by reference, we are going to use the original value. That's going to be the difference. Next slide, move to next slide, please. Okay, this is going to be the next slide, which is about call by name. So call by name, which is going to be otherwise we used to call it as what? Thanks, THUNKS, thanks. Okay, here the calling function will invoke the call function using its name. So you have an calling function and you will have called function, where the calling function will be called, which is going to call the called function using its name. Okay, so here we are not going to pass any parameters, simply just using name we are going to make use of the function definition. So the function definition, which is going to process something and it is going to return some results to the calling function. Okay, so the from the calling function the control moves to the called function. The called function, which is otherwise called as what? Function definition. Here from the calling function to the called function, we are not going to pass any values, we are not going to pass any parameters, or we are not going to pass any arguments, just which is going to be an empty parameters over there. For example, void process opening bracket closing bracket, that's it. This is going to be an function declaration and function call and function definition. All these things which is going to follow the same signature. Okay, the same format at the same structure, where you won't have any arguments over there. We are not going to pass any arguments over there, and automatically the question raises, and how the function will work? The function which used to work based on its name, the function will be called and which is going to work based on its name. So that's why we used to call it as in call by name. Okay, so the calling function will invoke the called function using its name, and then there won't be any parameters within the function, or parameterless function. You won't have any parameters. That's why we used to call this as an call by name as an parameterless function. So other name for call by name is thanks, or else we used to call it as a parameterless function. Okay, and then this function will be executed. The statements within the function process something and is going to return the value to the calling function. So the function definition, which consists of some set of statements, and it's going to do something over there, where it is not going to use any values, but it is going to do some process over there, and finally it is going to return some results to the calling function. Okay, or whatever the statement that we have under this call by name will get executed. So that's about call by name. Okay, and then move to next slide, move to next slide. The next one is about the call by value. So this is going to be very important thing, because we must know this to make the difference between the call by reference and call by value. So the call by value, where we are going to call a function from the calling function to the function definition, and then here we are going to pass the parameters. Okay, we are going to pass the parameters, and then this parameters which is going to be in forms of a copy of value, the parameter which is going to take only a copy of value. For example, from the calling function to the called function, we are going to pass some three parameters. For example, int a comma int b comma int c. A which consists of some value, and b which consists of some value, and c which consists of some value. So from the main function we are going to pass the value toward the function definition, the value which is going to be just a copy of value. So we are going to take a copy of value and then we are going to process. Okay, so here one of the important thing that you people must know, the function within your main function, the calling function, which is going to have the signature like integer a comma integer b comma integer c, whereas the function definition which consists of three parameters as integer d comma integer e comma integer f. Okay, so the variable names whatever that we are going to use in calling function, and then the function definition which is going to be changed over here. Okay, the name which is going to be entirely different. Okay, and then how this value will be passed from the calling function to the function definition. Okay, so how the value will be passed? So the passing mechanisms only we used to call it as in parameter transmission or parameter passing. So the value of a will be moved to the variable name what, d, and then the value of b will be passed to e, and then the value of c which will be passed to f. So in the calling function you will have three parameters. We used to call it as an int a comma int b and int c, whereas in function definition you have three parameters. Those three parameters we used to call it as an int d comma int e comma int f. So the value of a will be moved to d, and value of b will be moved to e, and value of c will be moved to f. Okay, so the variable names present in the calling function and the variable name which present in the function definition here is entirely different. Okay, so we are going to take a copy of value from a, and then we are going to pass it to d, and then we are going to take a copy of value from b, and then we are going to pass it to e, and then we are going to take a copy of value from c, and then we are going to pass it to f. So this is how actually the transmission is happening between the calling function and then function definition. So why it have to take a copy of value? Why it's not taking original value? That's going to be the question. So whenever that you're going to work a copy of value, whatever the changes that you're going to do to this copy of value, it won't get reflected to the original value. Okay, so the purpose here is, suppose you have to preserve the original value, and then you have to work on some duplicate values, and then you're going to, suppose you're going to make use of those duplicate values, there you could use this particular concept as callback value. Okay, so the original value will be preserved within your main function as such, so there won't be any changes in the original value of those variables. And in the function definition, using these variables we are going to process something, and then we are going to do some modifications, and after those modifications, those results, whatever the calculated results, will be passed from function definition to the calling function. So from the function definition the result will be passed to the main function, where the results will get displayed in the main function. Okay, so here whatever the value, original value the ABC has, it won't be changed. So the value will be preserved as such. Okay, just we are going to take only a duplicate value from ABC, and then we are going to process it using D, E and F. And then here in function definition we used to do some changes, and then those results will be returned to the main function. And whenever that you are going to print these values as ABC and DEF, ABC will have its own value, the original value, and DEF is going to have only a duplicate copy of value. Okay, so this is going to be the purpose of this call by value. So that's what we have defined in this slide. So where you will have here the calling function will invoke the call function, but here we used to have some parameters. So here we are going to use some parameters, and then the calling function will pass only a copy of value, or else we used to call it as a duplicate value from the calling function to the called function. So just we are going to have a copy of value for processing, okay, and then this duplicate value will get processed in the call function, and which is going to return the value to the calling function. So that's the thing. So it is going to process some duplicate process on some duplicate values, and it's going to return the results to the main function. We must know the differences between call by name and call by value, where in call by name we are going to use just name, whereas in call by value we are going to use the function name along with parameters. Okay, so here the purpose is we are going to pass, or we are going to transfer the parameters from the main function to the function definition. While passing, we are not going to pass the original value, instead just we are going to take a copy of value and then we are going to pass. Okay, so the original value will preserved, and there won't be any changes. So original value will be stored as such, and then we are going to work on some duplicate values alone. So these types of processing we used to call it as an call by value. Okay, um, okay. The next topic, which is going to be about call by reference. So in call by reference, which consists of a calling function and which consists of parameters, but the difference over here is the calling function and then the called function, which is going to use the same value, which is going to use the original value. Okay, so from the calling function to the called function we are going to pass the original value. So straight away here we are going to make some references, the references in forms of address operator. So instead of passing the variable name, here we are going to pass the original value by using its address, by variable's address. So instead of referring a variable name, here we are going to refer the variable name using its address. So from the calling function to the called function we are going to pass the original value, where whatever the changes they are going to do in the function definition will reflect in main function. So this is going to be the conclusion part that we have while using call by name and then call by value and then call by reference, where you people know about call by name, which is just by using function name we are going to process, whereas in call by value and call by reference we are going to use values, where in call by value we are going to use just variable name alone, whereas in call by reference we are going to use the variable with its address. That's very important. Where in call by value we are going to use a copy of value, whereas in call by reference we are going to use the original value. And then in call by value, whatever the changes that you're going to do in function definition, it won't reflect in the main function. This is going to be the conclusion. Okay, whatever the changes that you're going to do in your function definition to the copy of value, it won't reflect to the main function of the original value, because just we're going to take the copy of value and we're going to process, it won't get reflected in the main function. Whereas while using the call by reference, whatever the changes that you're going to do in function definition will reflect in all the locations or wherever that you are using that particular variable. Though the variable names between the calling function and function definition, which is going to be different, here we are going to use the address of the variable and then we are going to process it. So we are working on original value. So whatever the changes that you're going to do using your function definition, it will reflect throughout the program wherever that you're using that particular variables. Okay, so this is going to be the important conclusion about the call by value and call by reference. You people have to make the two important differences. In call by value we used to use what, a copy of value. In call by reference we used to use what, original value. And then in call by value we used to use just normal variable names alone, where in call by reference we used to use a variable name with its address. Okay, so these are the important thing that is about this particular topic, parameter pausing mechanisms. Okay. So the next slide, ma. The next slide. So these are some of the differences that we have between call by value and call by reference method. As already we discussed, we have a copy of value in call by value. In call by reference, we have original value. And then uh, we have one more conclusion. I will discuss about this particular conclusion in the next session. In the last session, I will discuss. So with this, I would like to stop the session because it's already time up, and then now the time is 10 to, so I would like to stop the presentation now. So um, in the third or I will discuss in detail. I will give some revisions on this particular topic once again, on this particular topic, to differentiate the call by value and call by references and these things. And in the third hour, I'm going to discuss on one more topic, a new topic. Okay. So with this, I would like to stop the presentation. But before stopping the presentation, just I would like to confirm the attendance. So be in line. So don't get out of the session. So be in line itself. Okay, for a few minutes.